Hello, it's Cam here from RowingWOD, and today is something quite special. We're going to go through a workout with something in mind towards the end of the year. As you may or may not know, the British Indoor Rowing Championships are back and they're here in December. The event was fantastic last year. There's team events, there's a sprint event, but there's also the Blue Ribbon 2K. 2,000 meters for time is the Olympic distance, and any rower, whether on the machine or on the water, always knows what their 2K time is. So if you are entering the British Rowing Indoor Championships this year, I would highly recommend just seeing where you are and doing that 2K, pitting yourself against the best in the country and sometimes even the best in the world. Today we've got a workout for you. And it's quite a simple one, but there's quite a lot of stuff going on behind it. I want to talk through the workout in a minute, and specifically what you should be paying attention to as you go through it and just before you attack the workout. What we do with this workout is figure out where you are, and I'll explain about that in a minute, and then try and plot a pathway to give you the fastest 2K towards the end of the year at the Indoor Championships. So let's look at the workout. It's really straightforward. 4 rounds of a 500 meter interval with 1 minute rest between. Easy. However, what we want to look at first of all is, what are you trying to do with this? I want you to go from A to B as fast as you possibly can. So that means that you should have your best time across all 4 intervals and your fastest average speed, or your average split, or your average wattage. Whatever that average is across all 4 intervals, that's what we're after. Doesn't matter about the rate, so whether it's high rate up 32, 34 strokes a minute, medium rate, whatever works best for you to give you the best speed. I want you to also use the interval rest wisely. So there's only a minute there, it's not enough time to fully recover, but it is enough time just to loosen off those soft tissues. It's also enough time to just have a quick swig of water and to mentally refocus. Now let's talk about the warm-up for this. Even though it's quite a short workout, you should be spending a bit of time on the warm-up. So the first thing that I like to do is to ensure that the body is prepared for rowing, mobility-wise. So the 3 main culprits: thoracic spine, hamstrings and hip flexors. Make sure you've got good range of motion there. If you want to hit a foam roller and get that thoracic spine moving, do that. If you want to just make sure that those hip flexors are moving nicely and you've got that good pelvic rockover with that hamstring flexibility, then do that. Spend a good 10-15 minutes on this, making sure that your body's primed. Remember that rowing movement is not that common for the human body, and so we need, especially if you're quite new to the machine, we need to prime it ready to go. So once you've done that, I'd like you just to do a bit of a general warm-up. Depending on how you're feeling on the day, a minute or maybe a minute and a half, maybe even 2 minutes of low-level work, just getting that metabolic system working, and then just intersperse that with some rest. 30 seconds, a minute, maybe working as a kind of 1-to-1 work-to-rest ratio, and just until you feel quite sweaty, until you feel as though you're breathing and the engine is just starting to get going. Next, I want you to look at some more specific intensities. So if you started at the low rate, I want you to build up the rate to where you'd probably do this workout. So maybe moving through the gears for 10 or 15 strokes, getting up to that race rate. So whether that's 28 strokes a minute or 32 strokes a minute, whatever you're going to do in the workout, you should be starting to build there. Lastly, just do a couple practice starts. Very important for this workout is that only the first interval is done as a standing start with the machine stopped, the handle stopped. So you can do a few practice starts, maybe 5 strokes, nothing more than that, just to figure out what you're going to be doing in that first interval. Then, if you want to and you don't feel quite ready enough, you can go and do another burst, just back down at raised pace, and then you should be ready to go. Take a couple, 2-3 minutes of rest to make sure you're nice and cleared from all that metabolic stress, just getting your head in a good headspace, and then attack the workout. So pacing. What we want to do, as I said, first interval, off the start, nice and fast, getting into a really high pace. but you want to be finishing that first 500 meters, not with a big sprint start at the end, but rather as a nice high level race pace, so you row through the line. Then intervals 2 and 3, that middle 1,000 of the 2K, I want you to first have the machine already working, so it should be spinning along as the rest goes from 3, 2, 1, and then 500 pings up again. So get that machine working and try and hit a nice high pace through the middle 2 and 3 500 meter intervals. Finally, the last 500 meters, again starting with the wheel moving, and then you can add on that last 250, 300 meter big sprint, trying to add as much pace as you possibly can, and really make sure that you should row through the line. So wait until the meters have completely gone before you stop rowing. Good. As a rough rule of thumb, where do I start? If you've never done this workout before, you can use your 2K as a bit of a guide. So here's a bit of a trick. Between 10 or 12 splits, 10 or 12 seconds faster than your 2K split. So 10 seconds faster is 2.5 splits quicker. Let me give you an example. If I was doing a 2-minute pace, 2.5 splits quicker would be 1:57.5. If I was doing a 1:40 pace, 1:37.5 would be 2.5 splits quicker. So roughly 10 or 12 seconds per 2K faster for this workout than your actual 2K. If you've got no idea what your 2K time is, that's totally cool as well. Just try and pace this workout to get the best score from A to B. So first meter all the way until the last meter of that total 2,000, and just see where you are, and we can use that as a guide later on in the training phase. So to recap, 4 500 meter intervals with 1 minute rest in between. You can program the monitor so it's set automatically for you, which is great. Warm up appropriately, get the body moving, get the engines whirring, and then dial in what kind of pace you're going to do for the workout. Pacing, make sure you don't go off too hard, but also make sure you don't leave everything for the last 100 meters. And speed, don't worry if you've not done one before, this will be your benchmark, happy days. But if you have done a 2K, just keep your mind, maybe 10 or 12 seconds faster than what you would do for a 2K is what you roughly want to be aiming for this workout. Finally, make sure you've signed up for the British Rowing Indoor Championships. I think it's going to be a fantastic event. If you haven't dabbled in a 2K before, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. And we can't wait to see you and all of the community there at the event. Enjoy the workout, check us out on RowingWOD, and we'll see you there. Enjoy.